Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatu no Jagatraya Guruhu. Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishne Namarasitravo Vinihataha. Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthidam Jagadidam. Krishnasya Dasosmyaham. Krishne Tisthati Sarvametadakhilam. He Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. With the blessings of Sri Chinna Swamiji, we are continuing Bhagavad Gita. We finished sloka 19 in chapter 6. We start with sloka 20. I'm sharing screen. Please chant. Yatro paramate chittam.
Yatro paramate
chittam
Niruddham yoga sevaya.
niruddham yoga sevaya
Yatra chaivatmanatmanam.
yatra chaivatmanatmanam
Pasyannatmani tushyati.
pashyannatmani tushyati
Let's chant together.
yatro
paramate chittam
Niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati.
So far, Lord Krishna is using the word yoga, be in that meditation state or be in the state where you are able to focus on Atma, right? Focus on Atma. How do you perform that meditation? All that were covered earlier. So what is this, the state, that yogam, that's state of yoga? In the next 4 slokas, Lord Krishna is explaining what is that state. If I want to be in that state, I need to know about that state, right? So he's explaining, Lord Krishna is explaining, Yatra uparamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya. Chittam, that is mind, yatra uparamate, where mind is delighted. Niruddham yoga sevaya, controlled by the practice of yoga. So when you're practicing this state of meditation, when you're practicing that meditation, so it's saying that is the state where the mind is delighted. Okay, so that's the first, right? Your mind is delighted, controlled by the practice of yoga. Yatra atmana atmanam pasyan, where seeing the Atma with the mind. So yatra is where atmana atmanam pasyan. Atmana, first atmana is that by the mind. Atmanam pasyan, seeing the Atma. So where seeing the Atma with the mind, Atmani eva tushyati, pleased in the mind alone. So where mind is, pasyan is, or mind is realizing, or when mind is realizing or mind realizes the Atma, it is pleased in Atma alone. It doesn't want anything else. Okay, so it is that state where mind is delighted and it is pleased with Atma alone. It is not pleased with anything else. It is not wandering, roaming around in all the frivolous thoughts that we get, or desires that we have. It is so mind is delighted with Atma alone, by seeing that Atma, by recognizing or realizing that Atma. Okay, so that is that state. That is the state of yoga we are talking about, right? That is the state where we need to reach, right? So Lord Krishna said, sit in a secluded place, control your thoughts, focus your mind on Atma, and start doing the meditation. Okay? Focus on Paramatma, right? He said. So he's the one who is going to give us that state of self-realization. So we are focusing on our Atma. Our mind is, delighted in that state. It is not like, oh, why am I sitting here? I should be doing something else, right? Mind, we don't want to get up even, right? I mean, so that is how much mind is delighted to perform that, delighted to be in that state of yoga or state of meditation. Okay. I mean, here the yoga is that union with the self, right? So that state of self-realization. So that is the first thing. So mind is delighted with the that state of self-realization. Okay. So that yoga, so Lord Krishna is explaining again, that yoga where all the worldly thoughts take rest, right? Controlled by the practice of yoga, where one is content with Atma alone after perceiving the Atma with the mind. Okay, so there are these 4 slokas. This is the first sloka. We have 3 more slokas where Lord Krishna is explaining about that state of yoga. Okay. Okay, let's look at the next sloka as well, sloka 21.
Just one small question, sir. So the person who already in that path and he's in that state, will he realizes that he's in that? Is he attaining or going towards or traveling towards the whatever the state that we are goal is for? Does he realize because if, for example, I am there and I know I am very far from whatever the last step is, but still if I am there, do I realize that am I in that state, or at least am I moving in a right direction?
So this is the definition. Okay. Very good question. So so this is a checklist Lord Krishna is giving, right?
Next, okay.
So the checklist is that your mind is happy with Atma alone. So you check yourself. Am I still wanting a lot of things, the materialistic things, or am I happy with the self itself? Right? That's so if I'm content with Atma alone, nothing else, then yes, we are in that state. So if let us say at any moment we think, oh, I should have done that, I should have acquired this, I should have I should get this praise, or I should, why did that person say like this, all this, if our mind is going in all those directions, either possessions, relations, attachments, and desires, and all that, then we are not in that state of self-realization. So when we are united with ourselves, right? That is, we are content with ourself alone.
Nothing should bother us. That's it.
Right. Our mind is delighted to be in that state.
Mm.
And not, it is not delighted with anything else other than that state. Right? So if we are in that, then yes, we have achieved that state. But if you have a doubt, or if you are distracted, if you are getting, our mind is running all around, then no, we are not there yet. Or we are, if we are forced to come out of it, then we are in that state. But if you want to run away from that state, then no. See, it's like this. So if I'm delighted, I'm delighted with that state itself. See, it's not that you have to always sit and then do the meditation. So once we are in the state of self-realization, we continue to be in that state even while performing other duties as well. So if no matter what we are doing, if we are delighted with our own self, nothing, and we desire nothing else than to achieve that state of self-realization, God realization, then even when we are doing all the other activities that we are supposed to do in our life, still we are in that state of meditation. Right? So for those who are in the beginning stages, definitely, they have to sit in a secluded place. They start meditating, right? They're not disturbed by other things that are going around. Right? So once our karmic bondage is getting cleared with that practice of meditation, then we are able to continue that meditation even when we are doing other activities also. Right? So here Lord Krishna gave us all the practices for doing the meditation, right? And then where do we sit? What do we think about? Or what do we focus on? Okay, while doing the meditation. And when we reach this state, that state Lord Krishna is explaining, that state where we are happy with our own self, nothing else. And we are delighted, the mind is delighted, in that particular state. Okay.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay. Next sloka. Sloka 21. Please chant. Sukhamatyantikam yattat
सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तत्
buddhigrahyamatīndriyam
बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्
vetti yatra na chaivayam
वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम्
itaschalati tattvataha.
हितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
Let's chant together.
Sukhamatyantikam
Sukhamatyantikam yattat
yattat
बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्
buddhigrahyamatīndriyam
Vetti yatra
Veti yatra
chaiva
na
chaivaayam
chaivam
Titaschalati
titaschalati
tattvatah.
tattvataha.
The Lord Krishna is continuing. Veti yatra, knowing where. So Veti is knowing. Knowing what? Knowing that state of yoga. Knowing that state where tat atyantikam sukham, that eternal happiness. Yat buddhigrahyam atindriyam, which is grasped by the intelligence and not by the senses. So buddhigrahyam atindriyam. Indriyas means senses, right? Atindriyam, not by the senses. Buddhigrahyam, that is grasped only by the buddhi or intellect. Okay, so if it is not, so what is that we are talking about here? This the atyantikam sukham, that happiness, that eternal happiness, which is obtained by that buddhi alone, not by the senses. Okay, I am sthitaha, one who is firmly placed in this state of yoga. I am here is this, right? This is referring to that state of yoga. So I am sthitaha, one who is placed in that state of yoga. Nacha eva chalati tattvataha, does not move from this state, is not distracted from the state of ultimate truth. So once who reach that state will not be distracted or disturbed or moved away from that state. Okay, so even after they, as we were saying, right, like so once they reach that state, it's not that they have to continuously sit there in a secluded place and continue to meditate. They will not be disturbed again. So they will continue to do all the duties that they need to do. They will, especially they'll, they will do good in the society, things like that. But they will not be disturbed from that state. Even after they, let's say, so they're initially doing the state of meditation, but even after they come out of that state of meditation, while doing other activities also, they will not be disturbed. Okay, so couple of things there in this sloka. That state of eternal happiness is obtained only by the that intellect, that knowledge of the self, right? Not by the senses. Okay, so we are like, let's say, we achieved that state of self-realization. Okay, now are we running after the senses for happiness? No. We know that senses, of course, we will experience them. It's not like we won't experience them, but even when we experience them, right? I mean, we will not be running after them to again experience that state of happiness, right? So we are always happy. See, that knowledge of the self is not going anywhere. That's not getting disturbed. right? So we are always in that state of happiness. That is that eternal, knowing that the eternal happiness is coming with the knowledge of the self only, and not by the senses. Got it? So that is one. And once we achieve that state, we are not disturbed again. We are not moved from that state again. So that is the state we are talking about.
Prasad Garu, so all these practices, right? I understand for one's own life discipline or how to. So I understand this is really helpful for highs and lows in my life to control myself, right? But we live in a society where not necessarily you are with the people like that type of steadiness, who has steadiness. 9 out of 10, you will find, ignorant. And also what I understood, right? Now I understood why yogis or Swamijis or gurus, the way they are calm, right? They are not expressive the way we are, not emotional as we are. If something that is happening to me or my coming to my achievements or my whatever related to me, I understand I can be calm. I don't have to jump up and down when it is really happy news or, all that. But when you're in that, even take a house, right? A home, like you have your husband, kids, they're so used to be, expecting things, being emotional. So how do we balance that one? Like, once I was like, I'm called a crazy mom in the house. I was like that. Sometimes I feel, craziness is needed for parenting, because those are the memories we leave for the children. So sometimes I like, oh, back out. No, I should not be too emotional, too, like, the way we learned, completely opposite to Western world. So how do we balance?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Relative
good
to
question. Like, if we don't have desires, if we don't show that we have desires, other people will think something is wrong with you, right?
Exactly. So
Right. And if you're not running after the things, so uh, that's fine. That is the knowledge that they have, and we shouldn't be bothered by it. We continue in our own path. Okay. um, we cannot expect everybody to be at that state. Definitely not.
don't expect, and we don't have to live for others. I that also I understand. I mean, every moment you cannot make others happy, or everybody happy, but still, certain things we may have to expect to be.
It's a big challenge in this world to live based on these principles. There are two problems with it. One is when we are practicing some of these principles, other people may try to take advantage. That's one big thing, right? So but we need to be really watchful, careful with that. Then second is we will not be able to, like everybody else. Let's say we are in a society where everybody else wants to party, and let's say everybody is eating something, drinking something, whatever, and we don't want to. Let us say. What happens? Like, I mean, just giving that as an example, like an extreme example where let's say there are 20 people doing a party, and 19 of them are Rajasic and Tamasic, and we want to be Sattvic. what kind of peer pressure will be there on us, right? Definitely, if other people are ridiculing and things like that, we don't have to be in that state. It's our choice, right? So we don't need to do things just to make them happy. Okay. So if we are moving away from some of these principles just to make others happy, that's a red sign. Don't want to do that, right? If it is a duty that we need to do, then yes, go ahead and do it. If it is not a duty, it's a choice for us, then don't do it. Okay. So, for example, let us say we want to do the yoga meditation for 6 hours, right? And then, but because of family situation, we don't get 6 hours time. Okay, we have to take care of the family. Take the kid to school or some other place or whatever. Yeah, don't say that, okay, I have to do the meditation, I will not take. We have to do our duties.
Balance.
Wherever it is not our duty, then it's our choice. We don't have to go into the Rajasic and Tamasic direction. But when we are performing a duty, don't think that we are moving away from the state of meditation. We are performing that duty as service to God, no matter what it is, right? So we are always in that state of uniting with Paramatma only, right? We are thinking about Him. When we are doing any when we are doing any activity as service to God, we are always in that path only, right? So we are not. We don't have to be sitting in front of the deity and then doing the puja or meditation. We can be doing anything. But initially, when we are, let us say, outside, we will not be able to focus, right? Initial stage. Once we are in the state of focusing on self and treating any activity as service to God, then it does not matter, right? So same simple thing, like initially when we don't have control on our eating, right? Eating habits, eating or drinking habits. When we go to a party and then we see a lot of things there and people, say, hey, you eat or drink or whatever it is, we may be tempted to do it, right? But once we practice, practice that sattvic code, once we do meditation, once we focus on ourselves, right? Why I shouldn't be doing that? Why I should be doing this? Once we are in that state, even when we go to party where everybody else is drinking, eating whatever they can, we will be in that state of meditation only. We will not be disturbed by the surrounding.
There are some practical problems, right? So, slowly we learn how to overcome. For example, when you travel, especially, so when you go to a dinner or something, office dinner, the expectation is you will be showing some rajas. Chatting. So we have no common topics, right? So we don't eat, we don't drink. So you're sitting there. So what I do is I focus on my breath. Because literally, yeah, there are some practical problems and because we are not used to that kind of crowds anymore. When you are in satsang most of the times, then we're not doing it separately, right? It's our natural behavior now. See, it's not that every day we are telling ourselves, oh, I want to behave this way. So when it becomes your natural way of living, then when you have to do it for work or as a duty, for example, let's say you truly have to attend a party where everybody is really dancing. You go to this, some of these parties, what they do after graduation parties, right? So basically, if you are lucky, you find a guy like you. So both of you keep talking. If not, it's a tough situation, and you got to really learn how to focus on breath or something.
I mean, one thing that we observe is that we won't hate that situation also,
Yes.
right? I mean, Balaji, like giving you gave a good example. Like you went to office party where everybody is Rajasic or Tamasic and talking all the things. Your mind will not be disturbed. Like, why am I here? What am I doing? It will not be disturbed. You are able to focus on your breath, and you are at peace with yourself. That is what this is talking about. We are, nothing is bothering us anymore. You're pleased with yourself only. See, even when you are in that state of the Rajasic Tamasic situation, yourself did not go anywhere, right? So if you want to focus on yourself, it is still with you. It's like your $1 million is with you. Nobody took it, right? Why act as if somebody took away your $1 million? Some people get. Initially, we either get bothered by it or we get tempted by it. Our mind is, when people say, "Hey, why are you not eating? Why are you not drinking?" We may, think, and then we may get disturbed. But once we are in that state of meditation, it will not bother us. It will just say, I don't like to do it. That's it. Right? Actually, they will, when we reach that state, I don't think anybody can disturb us, no matter how much pressure they put. Right? So they will not be successful. They will not even try. It is difficult to reach that state, but once we, again, that is not the ultimate state. We're still practicing, but we can get to that state. So when things are going around in the house or in the office, or we will not be disturbed by all the activities that happen around us.
Yeah, actually, sir, those type of things, yes, we do have control, and fortunately, the friends that I have, they respect me for whatever I am, even my family. But actually, the reason for my question was, I'm a basically very emotional person. I show things very obvious. If it is if my daughter comes with some good news for herself or her career or something, I am basically very expressive. I used to be very praise her, so whatever it is I do. But nowadays, after we learning this, right, whatever I am doing or behaving, sometimes I feel, oh, it is like something wrong. Like, am I making her used to that wrong way of, upbringing? That is the thing I'm saying. Like, can I be same person, even though I know, like, I cannot be too emotional to everything. But they're my children. I raised them. They got used to certain, even not only because of me, because of the entire society. For their sake, can I be still the same person? Am I cheating them or misleading them?
So again, if it is our duty to do certain activity for kids, for others in the family, we do it, but we are not disturbed by it. Okay, so if you show your emotions, then you may think, oh, am I moving away from this? You're not. If it is, again, you're not overpowered by that emotion and do something that is different from what you want to do, right? So as long as whatever emotion that you have is appropriate for that situation, you can show that emotion, right? it is not that we have to be like a rock, right? Not showing any emotion. Doesn't say that. We should be rock internally. In the sense, we are not disturbed by whatever happens outside. So that is the mental balance we have. We don't go overboard and lose the mental balance, right? So typically, when we are when we face a happy situation, if we go overboard in the happy situation, it sounds okay at the time, right? But it is a tendency that when something goes negative, we will be overpowered by the negative emotion also, right? So that is going to hurt us. So what we need to do is we need to show whatever emotion is needed, whatever is our duty. Naturally, you can show, no problem, but don't get overpowered by it, right? So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. It is not like that is your goal. And say again, we in the previous chapters that we have, right? I mean, it is not like you are only living for that situation to happen, right? So if it happens, which is good, yeah, you enjoy. Paramatma has given that situation. Think about that and then experience that. Tena tektena bhunjita. We are saying that, right? So whatever situations we get, accept it as Paramatma's blessings, and we can experience it. Not a problem. And that happiness. If it is unhappiness, sad, also again something that we are supposed to experience it. We experience it, but we will not. We should not be disturbed by it. Whatever is our duty at the time, we have to do.
Yeah, that is a very practical point, and because see, sometimes our own children may not listen to us, right? So, and it really kind of bothers us because simple things like but the way I think we have to do our duty, but they also have their own path, their karmic bondage, right? They have their own vasanas. So we should realize that I mean, as a parent, we understand, we try to do always the best for even parents, children, and all of that. But beyond a certain stage, if they're totally doing something crazy, yes, of course, we have to go to any extent to stop. There is no question about it. But, we can't really change them 100% because they have their own karmic bondage and journey as well. That we have to realize, good or bad. So,
right. Yeah. So that end result, that state where we have full control, right? That is the end result. If we do any activity with that expectation, then we will be in trouble, right? So, but it is our duty to act. So let us say we have to correct a situation. It is our duty to act in that situation. Why are we acting? Because we want to correct. So we know what result is there, that for our activity, that is the result we know. But we do not have the expectation that my action is going to give me that result. There the difference is. So last week also we spent a lot of time on this goal and desire, right? So we work with an expectation of a particular result, okay? And if we don't meet that expectation, we are we get disturbed. Or if we are able to meet that, for example, we achieve that whatever state that we want to, then we become, saying that, Rajasika Tamasik, right? I did it by my own, abilities, like that. So there also we are acquiring karmic bondage. So if we are doing anything with expectation that a particular result will be obtained by our actions, that's not karma yoga. If we, we have to do certain thing, that's our duty to do, and we perform that activity, then whatever may be the result, we accept it, right? So then it becomes karma yoga, and you are doing that activity also as service to God, no matter what it is. So then we are always with Paramatma. Our mind is always focused on ourselves.
Thank you, sir.
Good question, Sandy. Thank you.
I also have a question.
Sure.
Let's say you have been used to this the tamasic and rajasic lifestyle before learning Gita, and then you go to these parties, and then that's when the confusion will start, right? People expect you to be the same person what you were 15 years ago, and then you go to a party, as Balaji had explained, and we have all the friends, and suddenly you are the person that people are talking about. Listen, this dude went to here, he changed himself, and now listen, he's not doing anything. And that's one of the dilemmas when I face when I go. So when people call me, I go. Sometimes I don't do anything. I sit there, and they say, "Hey, Param, you changed. What happened to you?" So,
Exactly. Yes. What happened to you?
yeah.
Yeah.
But that is not, sir. Like, what I
No,
like.
actually, sorry. Basically,
Yeah.
that is a good thing. You should feel proud. Okay. So you should make others realize. Then only you know that you are actually. Otherwise, you don't know whether you are going in the right path or not. So if other people are recognizing, that means you're on the right path. Okay. So the people are able to see the difference. People. I mean, it's not that you want their recognition or comments, right? You are doing your whatever you're supposed to, and then if they recognize it, then it is a reinforcement for you. Okay, I'm in the right direction. So be happy about it. We can be happy about that because um, it is our goal, right? Our goal as Atma is to reach that state of self-realization, clean our karmic bondage so that we can be liberated. So if we are going in that direction, it's a happy moment, right? So, I mean, it's not that we will achieve that in this particular life. We don't know, but at least we are in that direction. So it's definitely a good thing. So when somebody says that, we have to put a badge on, to ourselves, saying that, okay, we are doing the right thing. And how do you handle that situation is don't be disturbed by it. And one of the things that we are learning, right, is not to be disturbed by such things, right? See, if we are disturbed by such things, that means we are not in that direction. So more likely than not, we will not be disturbed by it. We will be content with our own self. We don't get disturbed by their comment, saying that, hey, why did you change? You were like this, you were like that, and why don't you do these things? Or we will not be disturbed that we are not doing that also, right? Let us say we want to live in this state of sattvic lifestyle, and rajasic or tamasic is in front of us. That situation is around us. We won't be disturbed that, oh, why did I choose this? Why am I restricting myself? Why should I not enjoy like that? Right? That is one example. It could be even possessions as well, right? Materialistic possessions, and other people are having all these things. Why am I not having all these things? If I am getting that, means I'm still not there, because I'm still. This is what Lord Krishna said, right? Your mind is delighted only with self only. It's not, it's not It's not seeking anything else. It's not that it's not going to be happy when you experience it. It is not seeking it. If you come across it, if you have $1 million lottery tomorrow, enjoy, no problem. But you're not seeking that, actively seeking that enjoyment lifestyle. So in order to do that, you have to get $1 million. And then no matter what I do, I have to get it. That is this, slippery slope for a lot of people. But again, in order to enjoy those benefits, enjoy those, results, I have to, not do any of these practices, meditation, yoga. I should do whatever, let us say I have to go to a party and enjoy with 10 people. If that is giving me the next step in my career, let me do it. If I am doing that, then I'm not in the right direction. If I'm okay not to do it, no matter what impact it has on the career, not a problem. Right.
Okay.
Vishakar, you were saying something, sorry.
Lendi, I mean, I realize where to draw a line, at least, to some extent. But what Paramgar is saying, right? Yeah, if you don't want to participate in anything, that's fine. If by your wish and will and it is making you happy. But if you have a balanced life, okay, and not to cut off all of a sudden everything that you have been doing all these years slowly, that is when they confuse. Like I still, attend parties, even though I reduced a lot, but I do dance in weddings or wherever, does it mean like I do get enjoyment in that? Meaning maybe I'm not there yet, definitely not there. But I don't see much harm, even, doing certain things. I mean, yes.
I mean, the bottom line is this, that you are not actively seeking it. If an experience comes for you, you don't have to run away from it as long as it does not disturb you. And it's your duty to be present. Let's say somebody invites you to a party, and suddenly you didn't expect that all those things would happen, or even if you expected, but there is no choice for you, you have to do it. Okay, so then if we are not disturbed by it and we stick to our principles, no issue. And if you are able to enjoy, see, again, all these people, they cannot be like us, right? I mean, they don't, let's say they do not have understanding of Bhagavad Gita. So they are not there in that state yet. So deal with them in that state only. Like, for example, again, I'm not saying that they are so great and other people are not. I'm not saying that. But let us say an elderly person is there, right? And there are 10 kids. 10 kids running around in the house. What will the elderly person do?
He'll be mad at, or upset with
Okay.
them discipline or something. Yeah.
No, let the kids enjoy.
Oh, okay.
What will kids do? We know.
Yeah, if he's a very understandable, you can understand things. Yeah.
As long as the kids are not
Mm.
doing something really, like playing with knives and matches and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or hurting each other. As long as the kids are simply running around having a good time, that is what they do, not an elderly person.
Can do that, yeah.
So if you go to some place where people don't know, any of the practices that we know of and we are practicing, let us say, and so we are at a higher level, and those people are at a lower level because they don't know. So that's according to their state, they are enjoying. So let them do it, as long as it is not hurting. So those 10 kids are not hurting that elderly person. Elderly person is simply enjoying, right? And in fact, they derive the happiness looking at those 10 kids. So, again, as long as it is not something really bad, people are having good time, we see them and enjoy that. With God's grace, they're able to have a good time, right? So we will not have anything negative, saying that, oh, these people are, they're having their own enjoyment at that time.
Yeah,
right?
it's all
Ideally
manifestation of
they are
Bhagavan.
not supposed to do it, so they are acquiring karmic bondage. But who are we to do anything? If we try to explain and they're not ready, then things won't go well, right? So we, just like that elderly person tries to hold all the 10 kids, then you can imagine what will happen. Kids will start crying or beating, and then they will lose peace, and you will also lose peace.
Yeah.
So if 10 kids want to just run around in the house, and that's what their age and their knowledge is, elderly person will simply allow it to happen. Same way, I think we should allow.
Yeah.
Of course, again, if someone that we know of should have been doing something better, then we feel that, okay, ideally they should have done it. But beyond that, we shouldn't be disturbed by it.
Yeah, that is true. We are not really thinking that we are at a higher state and they are at a lower state. We are not at all thinking that way. And
Right.
because we learned through Gita, everything is Bhagavan's manifestation. Bhagavan, that's one beautiful thing we learned. He's not saying only I am all the good things in the world, right? Everything is manifestation. But the natural prompting, what is coming within you, so you have to follow that. So you don't have to pretend, right? So that's something that we are enjoying. We can go and do it. But over a period of time, slowly, whatever prompting is coming, you continue to do it. No problem at all. That's it.
Thanks.
That's good. We go on to the next sloka, sloka 22. Please chant. Yam labdhva chaparam labham
Yam labdhva
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं
manyate nadhikam tatah
manyate
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
yasmin sthito na dukkhena
yasmin
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
gurunapi vichalyate.
gurunapi
गुणापि विचाल्यते
Let's chant together.
yam
Yam
labdhva
लब्ध्वा
chaparam
चापरं
labham
लाभं
manyate
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
yasmin
यस्मिन्
sthito
स्थितो
na
न
dukkhena
दुःखेन
gurunapi
गुणापि विचाल्यते
talking about yoga, that state. Yam labdhva, after gaining, which, right? Labdhva, after gaining. Yam, that is that state. Which state? Which is that yoga. Na manyate, one does not consider. Aparam labham adhikam tataha, any other benefit greater than that. So after gaining that state, one does not consider there is anything other greater than that. Right? So, so you have reached that state from where you're not seeking anything beyond that. Right? So does it happen with materialistic things? No, right? You get $1 million, you want 10 million. If you get 10 million, you want 100 million, keeps on going. But in this state of yoga, that after attaining that state, one does not consider anything beyond that, any benefit greater than that. So this is the greatest benefit that I get. Or this is our goal, right? And we reach that state of that goal. Okay. Yasmin sthitaha, being firmly established in that state, in na vichalyate, one does not get disturbed. Guruna dukkhena api na vichalyate, even by great misery. Okay, one does not get disturbed even by great misery. So once we reach that state, after attaining that state, we do not consider anything greater than that. No other benefit is greater than this. I am delighted with that state. I'm not seeking anything beyond that state, right? I'm happy in that state. And one does not get disturbed from that state, even when they're faced with great sorrow. Right? So basically,
Here, Professor, we
yeah.
are referring to the experience of self. So once someone
Yes.
experiences the self, then they realize there cannot be anything
Greater
higher
than
than
that.
that compared to, yeah.
Right. No other materialistic benefit is greater than that. So we do not run after anything materialistic. What does that mean? Right? When we are not in that state, right? Let's say we are not still in the state of self-realization. What is that we would consider as the greatest goal? We are still not there yet, right? So what do we aspire to become? If we really know, right? Like if I know that this is the highest level that I can get to, right? We aspire for that, isn't it? We don't aspire for something lower than that. So if we know that this is the state from beyond which there is nothing greater benefit for us, right? So that is the state that I would aspire to. So that would be the state that my goal would be. That is what I would work towards, right? So I mean, again, this is the indirect, and like based on what Lord Krishna said here, right? This is the state from beyond which there is nothing greater benefit for us. So it is the greatest benefit that we can, we can get. That would be our goal. If we know that, that would be our goal.
Right.
So if so we would do anything to get to that state. And if we are doing something else, then we are wasting our time.
Yeah.
Right? So if we want to earn $100, you work for 8 hours, you get $100, right? And you know that if you work for 8 hours, you get $100, and you don't work for 8 hours, you are not going to get $100. And let us somebody is not doing that. Somebody is not working. They're not going to get the $100 benefit, right? So the same way, if I know that this is the state, that is the most beneficial state for me, and I do not work towards it, then I'm losing it, right? I will
Yeah.
not be able to achieve this.
Also, we are not forcing ourselves, right? So it is, see, mind, once it recognizes, it is not that we are controlling mind and, we are forcing it. Once mind tastes something better, it naturally wants that. So once it actually experiences this, then it realizes, oh my God, this is much better than all the material pleasure I have been having. And see, that's where people go wrong. A lot of times, they, try to force themselves. So from tomorrow, I'm going to be this person. Then it works to some extent, they again fall back.
Yes.
So it has to naturally come.
Right. I mean, that's what in the previous local Lord Krishna said, that mind is delighted in that state. It doesn't want to come out. That is it. Like once it reaches the state, there's nothing that is more, delightful for the mind than that.
That's right.
Right. So that is the most delightful state that you can get to. The most beneficial state that you can get to. There's no other better benefit to it than reaching that state or being that state, right? Even if we get a situation which is, which is a cause of misery for us, still we should not be disturbed by it. One does not get disturbed by that. Right? I mean, it is easy to say than, like once we reach that state, they will not be disturbed by even the most sorrowful things.
I mean,
Right.
even this class is an example. See, because we all have experienced such we have positive experience, the type of calmness we achieve with this knowledge, then that's why we are able to consistently come to the class, from many years, actually, 3 years now.
Yes,
So
yeah.
we can extend the same multiple times to
Exactly. Yeah, very good example. We want to be in that state. There's nothing more happiness to us than to be in this state of, thinking about, Lord Krishna's message, with his blessings. So that is the state that we want to be in, not, seeing a movie or having a party or running after materialistic things. It would temporarily, materialistic wise, maybe we will get it, but you will not be reaching a state that is most beneficial for us, right? So we may get to a state that is beneficial for the body, but not for us. Okay. Next sloka 23. Listen. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga
Vidya Dukha Samyoga
viyogam yoga sanyitam
Viyogam
Yogam
Yoga
yoga
Samyuktam
sangitam
sanischayena yoktavyo
Sanishchayena Yoktavyo
Yogo nirvinna chetasa.
Yogo nirvinachetasa.
Let's chant together. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga yogam yoga sangitam sanishchayena yogavyo
Yogo nirvinachetasa.
Lord Krishna is continuing to talk about that state of yoga. Tam dukkha samyoga viyogam. That state of dukkha samyoga viyogam, separation from association from suffering, or separation from association with suffering. So this state of yoga, Lord Krishna is saying, that state that is like separating us from that association with suffering. Okay, that state of separation from association with suffering, vidyad yoga sangitam. Know that as yoga. Know that is named as yoga. Saha yogaha, that yoga, nischayena yoktavyaha, should be practiced with a determination. Anirvinna chetasa, with positive, happy, undepressed mind. Chetasa, with mind. Anirvinna, with the mind that is positive, happy, and depressed. Okay. So these four slokas with Lord Krishna very clearly saying that state, talking about that state, not about the person who is doing it, not about how how to achieve. All that is given. The person who is reaching this state is called yogi, right? So that yoga, that state of yoga, okay, that is taking us away from that state of suffering. I mean, we are reaching this, we are in this mode of suffering because of association with the body. Okay, isn't it? So that state which is separating us from that suffering, okay, which is taking us to a state of delight, never-ending happiness. Okay, that state is yoga. We need to practice it with a determination, with positive, happy mind, not with force, not not as punishment. Because you know that this is the beneficial for us. So once we know that there is no other benefit greater than this for us, there is no other happiness greater than this, right, for us. So then and if we really want to do it, we need to practice it with the determination. Okay, and be happy, with a positive, happy mind, is what Lord Krishna is saying. Again, it is very difficult to get to that state. Initially, I think everybody would have to be forced because of the karmic bondage that we are carrying, and we need blessings of Acharya to put us into that state of, move. So it's almost like that friction, right? Initially, the static friction is greater than dynamic friction. So initially, we will have that friction, and somebody have to push us. So once we are going in that direction, we don't feel that much friction, right? So same way here, once we start going in this direction, in this path, then we'll continue to go in that path. We'll not have that much friction, and then we'll start, gaining this knowledge. Once we start gaining this knowledge with with satsang, with the blessings of Acharya, we we are able to focus better on ourselves, okay, and Paramatma. So when we are focusing, and doing everything as a service to Paramatma, with the intention of reaching that state of self-realization, to be liberated, right? Then we will, we want to continue in that path. We continue to practice it. And with no pressure, no, unhappiness that we need to do this, where everybody else is enjoying, they're earning a lot of money, they're getting, enjoying the parties or whatever it is. So nothing matters to us. This entire world, all the frivolous thoughts that are going around in the world will not bother us. Yes, if it is our duty, we have to do it. So if our duty is to take care of the family, do a job, we have to do our best in that, not being disturbed by what happens in those duties. Do whatever is supposed to be done. If the result is good or bad, not be disturbed by it. Our focus is always the self, that state of yoga, where our mind is always happy with ourself only. Okay. We'll complete one more sloka, if it is okay. 5 minutes. Sloka 24. So we learned about yoga. Now moving on to the next set of slokas. Sloka 24. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman
Sankalpa prabhavan kama
tyaktva sarvanaseshatah
त्यक्त्वा
manasaivendriyagramam
मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं
viniyamya samantatah.
विनियम्य
Let's chant together.
संकल्प
Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva manasaivendriyagramam viniyamya samantatah. Lord Krishna is saying, Sankalpa prabhavan sarvan kaman. Sankalpa prabhavan is will born, or Sankalpa. Due to our will, are born due to our will. Sarvan kaman, all desires. So all desires that are born due to our Sankalpa. Okay. Sankalpa has another indirect meaning as well. The vasanas that we are carrying. Okay. So the desires that are born due to the vasanas that we are carrying, the gunas that we have, you can take it, basically our desires are, it comes to our mind, right? That is we are saying, okay, I want this, I want that. So all desires that are will born, aseshataha tyaktva. Tyaktva means give up. After giving up, aseshataha is completely. So after giving up completely, all desires that are will born, manasa eva, with the mind itself, indriya gramam samantataha viniyamya, completely restraining, viniyamya, completely restraining indriya gramam, all the senses, samantataha, from all external objects or vishayas. So after giving up all our desires with the mind itself, completely restraining all senses from sensory objects or external objects or vishayas. Okay, actually it's continuing. Since we don't have time, I'll just mention. So after we give up the desires, after we completely restrain our senses from external objects, slowly withdraw our mind from external matters. Okay, with that knowledge of the self, with a resolute mind. Okay, having placed your mind on Atma itself, do not think of anything else other than Atma. That's what Lord Krishna is saying. That's the next sloka I just gave. It's a continuous, sentence. So basically, give up all the desires that are, coming up with in our mind, right? Typically due to our vasanas that we are carrying, or karmic bondage that we have, gunas that we acquired, so give up those desires, right? And then restrain your senses. Okay, and then place your mind on Atma itself. Okay, firmly place your mind on, focus on Atma. See, this Atma Samyama Yoga is controlling of mind. Atma here means mind. Atma Samyama Yoga is the mind control. How do we control our mind and focus it on ourself? That's what this entire chapter is. When we do that, that becomes a means for our liberation, right? We achieve that state of yoga, which is the state of liberation. Okay, so again, Lord Krishna is saying that get rid of your desires and control your senses. Focus your mind on the self. Don't think of anything that is external to yourself. Right? So don't think of anything else means don't run after them. I mean, don't think of anything. We will be thinking of other things, right? Don't think of anything else as your goal, right? I mean, you will do your activities. You have to cook, eat, right? But don't make that your goal. Your goal is something. Eating is just an activity towards that particular goal. But unfortunately, we make all those activities which are related to body as our goals. And what is supposed to be our goal, we don't even know, or we will not focus on it. Okay, so then we will not be able to reach that state of yoga that Lord Krishna talked about in the 4 slokas. And we will not have the eternal happiness, right? Will not be getting the state of liberation. Okay, Andy.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you.
We conclude with the concluding prayer. Kayena vacha mansendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrute svabhavat karomi yajjat sakalam parasmai narayanayet samarpayami Sriman-Narayana Samarpayami Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Jai Sriman-Narayana.
Jai Sriman. Thank you so much.
Jai Sriman-Narayana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jai Sriman-Narayana. Jai Sriman.